Hello, everyone, and welcome to this last session on a Viva track. This session will be presented by me, Serge Tremblay. It's about Viva Learning. So the title of the session is Viva Learning from A to Z. You'll be learning how to use Viva Learning, actually. So first of all, like I said, my name is Serge Tremblay. I'm senior consultant at Technologia. This is a training company, so the topic works well with me. I'm a fan of learning, a fan of training, and I want to make sure that you learn as much as possible about Viva Learning so you can start implementing it in your company. Thanks a lot to our sponsors. These types of events are not possible without sponsors. So Veeam, Cyclotron, Rackspace, Technologia, Creo, Sparks, and Kibesa. Go and see them. Go and visit them. Thank you very much for the sponsors. And one of the things we get from the sponsors is you get a chance to win a $50 card from Amazon. It's $50 Canadian. So if we have Americans, it would be a little bit less than your own $50, but it's still $50. So at the end of the session, I will present the code again to fill out the evaluation, and I'll give you a code number. Because in order to win the prizes, you need to be present during the session and watch the session. And at the end of the session, we'll give you a code so that you will need to enter when you fill out the survey. So first thing first, Viva Learning. It's now available. It's been available for a little while. You need to know that it's there. It's free. Your tenant administrator could disable it if he wanted so, but it's there and free, and by default, it is available. Like I said, if it's disabled by your network administrator or your tenant administrator, there might be reasons. I will show you how to unlock it, how to make it possible, and how to make it available. If you want more, I'll show you. We'll have like 3 parts during the session. The first part, we're going to see what comes out with the free version. Actually, it's not really free because you're already paying licenses for Office 365, but we'll see what comes out without having to pay extra cost, what you can get with Viva Learning. And after this, we're going to see what you can get with the Viva Learning license or Viva Learning Premium, as it's called in some places. So this is going to be covered through the session. So what is Viva Learning? Well, Viva Learning is a centralized place. So it's a tool that will bring learning experience, that will bring courseware, that will bring a place where your users will be able to take training. But that place is directly from where they work. Like since the past 22 months, we've been spending so much time into Microsoft Teams. So it makes sense that we bring all that information directly within Teams. If you were watching some of the sessions earlier on today, like we had sessions on Viva Connections that was bringing you content directly through your Teams, bringing communication information. Viva Learning will bring you learning stuff. So learning means courses. And your users in your company, once Viva Learning is available, they'll be able to find, they'll be able to search, they'll be able to share, they'll be able to take those courses, follow those courses, and also you will be able to make recommendations. Unfortunately or fortunately, the recommendation requires an extra needs the Viva license in order to do recommendation, but the manager could make recommendations for his team and will be able to follow the training that his team has been doing. And we're all going to see this throughout the training. So what features are available in Viva Learning? So the features available in Viva Learning out of the box, okay, you got a Viva Learning app that comes in 2 Teams, desktop or mobile. You get access to 125 LinkedIn classes. You get access to Microsoft Learn Training from Microsoft Training. You can pick your interest. You will see that when you set up the Viva Learning app, you will be able to select your interest, and the training that will be proposed to you will be shown based out of your interest. There's also an integration with SharePoint. We're going to see this through the training today or the session, how to integrate your own custom content. So this is something that people, they build their own content. With the Viva Learning app, you can configure a SharePoint site where you would put your SharePoint content, and Viva Learning is going to go and read that content and propose this content to the users. Directly from Team, the users will be able to search, share, chat about the learning content that they have found. They'll be able to organize, view, bookmark, and view the whole content. What comes with the Viva Learning or with the add-on or the Viva Learning Premium, you're going to see in the last part, but basically integration with LMS and integration with external or third-party training vendors. So we see more here on this slide. You can see a little bit more that you got what comes from free and what comes with the premium license. As I mentioned, we're going to discuss more in the end of the training. Like I'll show you the on top of having integration, possible integration with LMS or third-party vendors, there's a lot more that can be done with the premium license that we're going to discuss near the end of the session. So, like mentioned, content provided, Microsoft Learn, Microsoft Training, free access to LinkedIn Learning. And if your users have a premium LinkedIn account, you will see that directly within the free version of Viva Learning, you can sign in to your LinkedIn premium account, and then you will get access to all the courses that you have from your premium account. So it's based on the user, and each users will have to sign in their LinkedIn premium in order to see the content. We'll also see how to do this during the session. The out-of-the-box content are here. I don't see any external content because on that print screen when I took it, I was not connected with a Viva Viva Learning Premium account. Supported language. Viva Learning is supported in multiple languages. And if you were there earlier on when I was speaking with Canwell, it is supported with the language. It works very well with all the languages if you are using the Teams web client. But if you are using the Teams desktop client, there's some hiccups. So I will mention you the hiccups in next slide. So one of the hiccup is the Teams client or the Team desktop client is not looking at the language of Microsoft Teams client. It will look at the Windows display language. So if your Windows display language is in English, when you're going to open Team, and if we put your Teams client, your Teams desktop client in French, you will see stuff in English. So you need to work on your Windows PC. So that should change. Okay, why? Because it's working well with the web client. So I think Microsoft is aware. I've opened the ticket. I showed them the fix. So they're going to work on this, I'm sure, to fix that portion. Another portion that doesn't work very well yet with the desktop client is the courseware that is proposed to the client. So from the support team, the Microsoft support team, when I opened the ticket, they told me that the proposed courseware is based out of the preferred language on the tenant. So if your tenant preferred language is French, it should propose French content, but it does not work like this at all. So, and I have not found a fix yet, and Viva team and the Teams team is working on fixing that issue. So if you want to see the French courseware, one of the way is connect to Teams through the web client and set your web Teams client into French. Then you'll get access to the French courseware for now. It should be fixed. Like Microsoft is aware of those hiccups, and it should be fixed. So if you want no issues, use the Microsoft Teams web client, and you won't get any issues at all. 4 steps for an admin in order to set up Viva Learning. Okay. First thing, we'll see how to go to the Teams Admin Center. I know we might have some end users in a session here today. I'm just showing you this as knowledge, so you can send it to your tenant admin if you don't get access to the Viva Learning. So it's 4 easy steps. Connect to the tenant and make sure that the Viva Team app, or Viva Learning app, is allowed into Microsoft Team Admin. Verify that the out-of-the-box content sources are made available in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And then you could manually add the Viva Learning app into your team, but it's better if your network or your tenant admin builds up a setup policy, app setup policy into team to pin the app for all your users. Once this is done, all you need to do is start learning. I've added, like, the slideshow will be available, the slide deck will be available, and the video is being recorded. So in order to verify that the Viva Learning app is allowed, you need to go to Microsoft Team Admin Center, go to Manage App, find the Viva App Learning, and make sure it is allowed. So when you can see that it's allowed, that's the first part that will be available for your users. After this, you can go to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center under Settings, Org Settings. There's a Viva Learning service available. And on the Viva Learning service, you can select to which learning provider you want. And you can see here, just a hint for one of the things we're going to see later on, SharePoint is not selected. So this is where you would select your SharePoint site in order to have your own custom content provided into the Viva app Learning, the Viva Learning app. Once it's done, just go to Microsoft Teams, go to the store, select the Viva app, pin it manually, or as I said, the network admin should set up an app policy to make sure that it's available to all the users. Once this is done, you can start learning. So we're going to do a few demos here just to make sure that you get the end and you get to see it working. So let me start my team here. Right, and let's share this. Any questions so far before we go further into the demo? All right. So I've got Microsoft Teams here. As I mentioned, to avoid any issues with the language, I use the web browser Teams client. So directly from Teams, you can add the app, the Viva Learning. I've already added it here, okay? But yeah, like I said, your tenant admin could push this app, so you don't need to teach the users to add the app. It will be added automatically. Once you get into the app, the first time you'll get in there, you'll see a list of interest that you can pick, because the courses that are proposed to you are based out of your interest. You can edit your interest and you can select. So I've selected collaboration, communication, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint. I could go on and select maybe business strategy as another interest and save my interest. So each users will need to do this the first time they connect to the Viva Learning, and based out of your interest, you see here, I can browse courses out of my interest, and I've added business strategy. It's proposing me business strategy courses. I've got collaboration, I've got communication, Microsoft Team, and SharePoint. These are my interests. I could change by provider. And you can see here, I've got a provider called SharePoint. SharePoint is my tenant name, is my organization. And this content is coming from my SharePoint site. So I can bring in internal content, custom content that I can share and make available to my users directly. This course is in French, but like it's available through my Viva Learning app also. So this is pretty cool, I find, that you can go on and have access to content from different providers. My providers here are available. You can also browse by courses if you want. The courses, you can see your progress. So you can see which courses you have recently reviewed. If you have bookmark any courses, you can view them. And if you add recommendation, you can see the courses that have been recommended to you. The recommendation we will see later on, it comes in only with the Viva Learning premium application. And you can also see a list of the completed courses that you've had. So directly from Microsoft Teams, very easy, very simple. You can come in and you can browse the courses and find the different courses. I can even search. So I can search for a course on Viva. And if I search on a course about Viva, I'm going to see Microsoft Viva's first look. And when I click here, it comes from LinkedIn Learning, and I can start the course directly from within Team. I don't need to leave Team. I get access, and for whatever reason, my connection is blocked. So let's go and connect. So I will go into my settings here, the three dots. I'll get access to my settings. And in my settings, this course is probably a premium course that because I signed in with the premium, my LinkedIn account before. So let's go and sign in. Go here. Demo God is against me. This is my good. So I'm here. All right, it won't allow me to sign in. It's probably because I'm using the web browser, but normally I should be able to sign in. And once I'm signed in, I would have access to my LinkedIn Learning courseware that I have and everything. From here, directly from the course, I could bookmark that course. I can share it. I can share it into teams. So let's say I would like to share this with a colleague. So I could come here. I want to share this into team. I have got a friend called Bruce Banner. So I can share it with my colleague Bruce and say, hi, Bruce, have a look at this course and share. And then Bruce will receive a message in team with the link to that message. So if I look in my chats here now, I should see the message to Bruce, and Bruce has a message with a link to the message. So you can do some social working also. So on top of using the app to find your courses, you can pick your interest, you can share, you can access directly from here, and you will see at the end when we have the premium Viva Premium Viva Learning Premium license, you will be able to recommend and see the recommendation. Other things that can be done with with Teams and Viva Learning is if you have a team, you can come to inside of your team into a channel, and into the channel you can start a new conversation, and in your conversation you can say new SharePoint training, and here, see this cool training, and I'll get access here to the Viva Learning app directly from a conversation, and I can make a search for a SharePoint course. Hopefully it will find one. Search. Should work. There we go. So let's say this course looks cool to me. I took this course. I can add it and send a post to my colleagues into the team and so it brings not only training to you, but you can share courses that you've taken that are interesting to you. Other thing that can be done, we're into the SharePoint info and training. I've added the Viva tab here. And on the Viva tab, I've selected some courses that I want to make available. If I go to my Teams training and info, I've got a course here. And if I come in this tab, I've got different training that are about Microsoft Teams. How did I do this? I came here, I've added the Viva Learning tab. I said, I want to search on Viva. And then I selected the courses that I want to make available into the tab. And then I made those those courses available directly to my users. I think it's pretty cool. What do you think? Any questions?
No questions so far.
All right.
All good.
So this is what the end user can do. So your admin, you already saw that it needs to be set up. You need to prepare, you need to plan, but it's there by default, it's there. So unless your admin has disabled it, it will be there and available for you. Let's go back to the slideshow. So from here, we've seen the different demos, social learning. How do we add SharePoint as a content provider into Viva Learning? There's a few easy steps, okay? First step, knowledge admin or global admin needs to provide a SharePoint site URL. So you need to have a SharePoint site that will be used to post the content that you want to use. The learning service will create an empty location in the form of a structured SharePoint list. You will see that once you enable SharePoint and you give the URL of the SharePoint site, in the SharePoint site, a list will be created. The list will be called Learning App Content Repository. And then you will be able to create folders into a SharePoint, any SharePoint site, share the URL, get the URL of that folder, and then you will go into the list and create an item in the list. And once it's created, it's going to be made available into your Viva Learning app. There's a delay. Okay, the delay could be up to 24 hours to show up. So I will show you the different step. So the different step, you would go to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, under Settings, under Org Settings, and under Viva Learning. You will be able to put in the URL of the SharePoint site that you want to use. So once it's added, the Viva Learning is going to talk, the Viva Learning app or service is going to talk to the site, and it's going to add a new library, a new list actually, where you will, that is called Learning App Content Repository. Once this is added, you will need to go to any SharePoint site, create a folder, and copy the URL of that folder. You got to make sure that all the users will need access at least and read in order to read the content. So you would copy the link from that folder and share. And then within the list, you would go and add the content in the list. In that folder, what is supported is Word, PowerPoint, Excel, PDF, audio, or video files. So within the SharePoint list, you will create a new item. In that new item, you will put in the URL. Sorry, just a minute. You will put in the URL of the folder that you took, and then it will go on. So how do we see this now? It just come in. So if I go to my SharePoint site, on my SharePoint site, I've created 3 folders. Some of them were created only 3 hours ago. Okay. From here, I went in here and shared the link and copied the link to get access to that link. And then from my SharePoint site that has been entered as my learning provider, I went to the learning app content repository list. I created a new item, gave a title, put in the URL, saved it, and eventually it takes a little while. Okay. Like I said, it could take up to 24 hours. So those new list items that I created 3 hours ago are not available. But eventually, when you will go here, you will be able to browse through providers. And in the provider, you will find the different content that is made available from the content provider within your SharePoint organization. It's very basic for now. There's not much metadata that you can add, but eventually you'll be able to add more metadata and more content. The way to organize within your organization, Mike, is by creating folders. Like as you've seen, if I share again my screen, okay, you see I've got Teams training material here 3 times, but one of them is a PowerPoint, one of them is a video, one of them is a PDF. So if I go in my folder here called Teams training material, which is the name of the folder, this is where we find the 3 content that I shared. So the folder name is what is being shown here. Okay, so it's work in progress. There's going to be better training eventually, better way, hopefully, to manage it. But it's still cool that we can propose our own internal custom courses. So there's a question from Amanda that says, can the URL to be a training video or does it have to be a folder? It has to be like I said, like I mentioned, it has to be a folder, and inside of the folder, you would put your video. So I repeat it again just to make sure it's clear. My folder in my SharePoint site is called Teams Training Material. And inside of the folder, I've got these 3 content that have been provided. So it works at the folder level at the moment. I've not tested with document set, so I don't know if it can be done, Amanda. So we've also asked, like I've been in close contact with the Viva team and the Teams team, and I've asked also to be able to filter by language. So we cannot filter by language yet, but for me that works in Montreal, we have clients that are bilingual or clients that are unilingual in French. So you would want to see the content in the language or being able to filter in a different language. This is not possible yet. Other questions or comments?
I have a question myself, Serge.
Yep,
so
go ahead.
Can we change the thumbnail for the videos when they appear in the SharePoint videos?
I have not found a way to do it yet. I think it's a work in progress and it will come. But the videos that are coming from Microsoft Learn or Viva Learning, the thumbnail is there. but I've not found a way to have our own custom thumbnail in our custom training yet.
Another question. So can we have something like in the folder to add the videos and then display them as a learning path? So for example, I want to have Teams development. So I want to place like 10 videos and have them displayed in a specific order under like Teams development. So they're like a plural site, let's say. Would there be a way to do that?
Not yet, but you will see the next portion of the training is what to do more with the Microsoft Viva Learning license. And with the Viva Learning license, you will see that you can have a subscription with Pluralsight, and you'll be able to with that subscription, your users will be able to view the training from Pluralsight or other content provider. Let me just go back to the slide deck for this. So that's going to help answering your question. So the next section is do more with Viva Learning license. So what can we do more with this? There's admin features. You're going to see some of the admin features, but also integration with some LMS provider. So third-party provider where you would have much more control to your content. You can integrate with third-party content provider. We'll be able to make recommendation and manage and view. Let's say you're a manager, you will see that I can, as a manager, I'll be able to recommend courses to my employees, and I will have a dashboard where I'll be able to see the how my employees have advanced within their training. But this will need to purchase an extra license called the Viva Learning license. So the recommendation, as you can see, it's going to be it's a button that comes up on the top of the training where you can recommend. And when you're recommending, you just need to add the address with a note, and you can put in a due date, and then the users will receive a message in their Viva Learning, and it will be part of the recommended courses, and then they will be able to take the course. Another place is once you browse through the courses, on the three dots, you'll also be able to recommend that will bring you to the same places. So there will be a few places where, with the premium license, where you will be able to make recommendations. Once you recommended course and you have the Viva Premium license, you will have a manage button that will be shown. And with that manage button, you will be able to see the courses that you recommended, and you'll be able to view the status of those courses that you've recommended. And if the person have not yet started the learning that you recommended, you will be able to send a reminder to say, hey, don't forget you have this course that you need to take. If you want more control, first thing, just a note here that I've added, I just want to not forget it, is the status will be only visible to the person that made the recommendation. So if you recommend, you can see the status. If you don't recommend, you don't see the status of what the people have been doing through the learning. And if you want more control, there's these three LMS provider, Cornerstone On Demand, Saba, and SAP SuccessFactor. And there's more coming soon. I think it might be announced before the summer, but there's more learning providers or LMS providers that will be available. And like you mentioned, Pluralsight earlier on, so you can have a subscription with Pluralsight, Coursera, JustWorks, InfoSec, Udemy, Skillsoft, GoOne, EDX. These are all available at the moment. You need to, in order to get this, you need first to have the Viva Learning Premium license. You need to have a paid subscription with these provider, and then these courses, you will be able to add them through your provider. I will show you in the next slide. There's more coming very soon. Some of them might be here since the last time I did not check. So in order to add the third-party providers, is you will go to the same place. You will go to your Microsoft 365 Admin Center. you will go to your Viva Learning. But once you will go to your Viva Learning, if you want to add, like, let's say you had a subscription and you want to add Cornerstone on Demand, you will need to fill out like the information from your account in order to be able to use the LMS provider. And the third party's training provider will be a similar way. Is from Viva Learning, you will select like the, let's say, Pluralsight or Udemy, and you will need to probably add a URL or a license or something in order to be able to use it. So once it's added, like, you will be able to manage, and like if you've worked with LMS before, like you'll have much more control over what is published, what is available, and how the courses have been done, and so on. So for companies that need this, it is available, but it's at extra cost. Once you have the license, you will have also, on top of the manage, you will have the admin tab. The admin tab is the knowledge admin. There's a new role in the Microsoft 365 roles. There's a new role called the knowledge admin or the knowledge manager. And once you allow this role, if you have the premium license, they will get the admin tab, and from the admin tab, they'll be able to create feature sets, which is similar to what you were asking. So here's a group of training that I want to make available, and this will come only with the Viva Learning Premium license also. Roadmap, okay, coming soon. Assignment and completion sync with the LMS. Intelligent personalized recommendation based on you work in the IT department, your colleagues in the IT department have taken these courses. So these courses might be good for you if a bunch of your colleagues have taken the same courses. So the Microsoft Learning Path integration, Viva Learning Suite, adding it through emails also. So we saw that we have the Viva Learning integration into Teams. There's an integration within Mail that will be available. You will be able to add learning items to calendars. So directly in your calendar, you can schedule, okay, this is the time I want to do my training, and your calendar will notify you that it's time to do your training. Reports and analytics, content targeted to groups in the org. So this is all common, and there's more stuff that Microsoft is working on too. So pretty much done with the sessions. I'm just looking if there's any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat. Are there any question? Why is learning pathway on top of mind? Because it might be more complicated than they thought it would be. I don't know. I cannot talk for the Viva Learning team. That's a good question. I could ask them when I have a meeting with them why it's on the top of mind and get back to you. The learning pathway is available into SharePoint, but the integration of learning pathway into Viva Learning is not available yet, and I don't know when it's going to be available. There's a few more things I want to show you. I've seen that Mohamed have posted the link and the code for the evaluation. A few more slides to look at before we finish up. Again, thanks a lot to our sponsors. The sponsors helped us to go through that training. These sponsors are the one giving out those $50 gift cards. So make sure you do fill out the evaluation. I've added a few links here. One of the link is brings to my blog article about the language. Some of them or directly to the Viva Learning. You'll get videos directly from Viva Learning, from Microsoft, and so on, to learn more on how to use Viva Learning. Evaluation, as we mentioned, you got the link into the chat, and my code is here. Thank you for your participation. Sorry, and I would like to make a special thank to John Michael, because John works as a product marketing lead into the Viva Learning, and he allowed me to use some of the slides that he has been working on. So some with the nice graphics, that were not probably not mine, they were some of his. So thank you very much, John. And finally, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the session. Uh, I can share a nice Viva Learning background if you want, with you guys, if you want to use it. And I'm ready for questions. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions.